Hello to all our viewers and listeners. Today, I will discuss the issue of pips and why some people find it difficult to play against them, while others, on the contrary, find that pips don't interfere but actually help them. Many table tennis players believe that pips are something that automatically creates difficulties for opponents. However, in practice, many players have no trouble playing against pips and do not experience difficulties at all. How is it that in some cases playing against pips is hard, but in others, it's the opposite? Let's figure it out. The conclusion might be surprising, but sometimes the search for an answer leads to unexpected insights. Let's begin with a typical question that was sent to me. My strong opponent serves, I receive with pips and my opponent has no trouble attacking my pips. Why does not a strong opponent have difficulties playing against my pips? As you can see, the person is puzzled. How is it that I returned the ball with pips, and my opponent didn't fall in fainting? Maybe my pips are wrong? Here's what's happening: the person's attention is focused on the equipment, the rubber, the pips. And they are looking for something wrong with their rubber, wondering what to replace to win every match. But in reality, not rubbers play the game, but the player. Rubbers can indeed be more or less effective. They can help you play better or worse. Sometimes, they can even get in the way. But it's important to understand that it's not the rubbers that play. They are not the most important element of the game. Let's get back to the question. It literally says, why doesn't a strong opponent have problems attacking my pips? Notice that the author has already explained the reason. The strong opponent is playing at a higher level than the person asking the question, and that's why they can easily handle the pips. Strong players are strong because he can easily beat weaker opponents. It's important to realize that rubbers are just tools for the game. And the result most depends not on what pips are on your racket, but how well you are able to manage them. The author expected that his pips would prevent a stronger opponent from winning. But that expectation wasn't fulfilled. It's like sitting under a pine and expecting for pears to fall on you. They won't fall because pears don't grow on the pine. It's important to understand how reality works and to expect what can actually happen, not what can never happen. You often hear the phrase, "He beat me because of the pips." At first glance, this seems reasonable, but if you remember, in table tennis it's the players control their rackets, not the other way around. So you can see the substitution of concepts. It would be more proper to say, I played weaker than the player with pips. Let's break it down. Maybe the opponent is indeed much stronger than me. Yes, he is playing with pips, but what's so special about that? It's important to understand that he is simply better, and I am worse. Even if we had the same skill level, I might just not know how to play against pips. I may not understand how the ball bounces off pips. I may not know what trajectories to expect, or what kind of spin is coming and how to play against it. I might not have the technique to break through a pips player's defense. This is an abstract example. I'm describing a real situation when someone doesn't know how to make a good topspin against pips and thinks that the opponent's pips are getting in the way. But that's self-deception. The opponent's pips didn't stop them from mastering the technique of a powerful topspin. In reality, someone else's pips can't affect what you can or cannot do. You decide whether to learn how to play against pips or to be upset every time a pips player beats you. By the way, while we're making interesting and useful videos and reviews for you, be sure to visit our TT Maximum store more often for your purchases. That will be your best way of thanking us for our videos. If you think someone else's pips are really getting in your way, I sympathize with you. I also once hated pips players and suffered against them. However, it's important to understand that the game of pips players is just a different style, and you need to learn how to compete against it. It doesn't depend on what your opponent does, it depends on what you've learned. You can train, and if you do, your chances of success will increase. Problems with pips are not caused by your opponent's racket, they are the result of your lack of knowledge and skills. When I first started playing against pips players, I was completely helpless because I had never encountered this style of play before and didn't know how to deal with it. For some time, I suffered, hating pips. Then I got tired of losing. I thought, why am I giving away matches to pips players? I can use them to learn how to play against pips players. After that, I came up with tactics for playing against pips players and started giving it my all. And that's it. On the very first match, my problems with Pips players disappeared. After some time, I got used to them, and I actually started to like playing against Pips players. If I had continued to claim that my opponent's Pips were causing me problems, I would have stayed at the same level. I realized that the problem wasn't with the rubbers, but with my ignorance and laziness. Since then, my struggles with Pips players quickly ended. All of this is possible if you stop blaming someone else's rubbers for your problems and simply start to learn playing against Pips. What are Pips? They are just a type of rubber. Not knowing how to play against Pips is as normal as not knowing how to play against a strong chop, a powerful topspin, or very high balls. Many players, by the way, don't know how to play against very high balls, and that's something that also needs to be trained. All skills take time and effort. Now, back to the original question, who finds it difficult to play against Pips? Those who don't know how to play against them. This doesn't mean that Pips are some sneaky trick that makes it impossible for everyone to play. It is just another type of ball and tactic that you need to learn how to deal with. All you need is practice. Don't be afraid of Pips. You're not playing against them on skates or in a motorcycle helmet. It's just a rubber that you have to get used to and learn to play against correctly. Analyze the games of Pips players who are around you, come up with tactics to play against them, and try it in practice. If you need a rubber, a blade, or shirts and sneakers, feel free to visit our store for your purchases. And if you have any questions on this topic, ask them in the comments below the video.